Hi everyone, it's Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 7, Negan's Next War. So warning, this will contain predictions, spoilers, and a lot of debate. Your conversation, your chat, your debate is greatly appreciated. It really is what makes this channel. In this video, we're going to talk about several different groups and what it's going to take for those groups to actually rise up and fight back against Negan. Perhaps he's losing a little bit of his grip, and we'll also talk about some potential catalysts that may ignite the whole revolt against Negan. So let's start out with a brand new group. We just talked about this in a previous video. This is the Oceanside. This week's episode, we'll get back to the story of Tara and Heath. They're out looking for supplies. They find some. They get separated. Tara ends up washed up along the beach. She's found by the women of Oceanside. Cindy is on the left. Natanya, the leader, is on the right. Wanted to bring this up as a reminder because we know Negan has killed a lot of people. Well, we find out this week he's killed all the men of Oceanside. Here's Cindy with an automatic weapon. So we know the women of Oceanside were allowed to keep their weapons, which is ironic because they have their weapons. The kingdom has their weapons, but Alexandria has no weapons. This is Beatrice, and we'll also see Kathy. So they're very loyal to the women of Oceanside. So if perhaps there could be a partnership, this would be a very, very strong adversary to Negan. But right now, I think they're too afraid to do anything. Let's talk about the kingdom. We have not seen them since week number 2, but there is no doubt this group will become a strong ally of Rick and the team over at Alexandria. You can see Ezekiel, Ben in the background. Morgan has recently begun to teach him how to fight. Richard and also Jerry. They have a nice slate of weapons. They have axes, they have spears, they have some handguns. The advantage they have is they meet the Saviors off-site, so you never know what they have tucked away that we haven't seen yet. Here's a picture provided by Spoiling Dead's fan page. This is Carol wearing the Kingdom's armor, so we know she's going to get her mojo back soon. Morgan is also wielding a handgun, so he has found his will to kill once again. Do whatever he can to defend the group. And we saw this from the sneak peek. This is Richard and also Morgan having a meeting. Perhaps the catalyst could be Richard dying or Negan killing someone, but something is going to get this group fired up to make them want to battle back. And let's not forget, they have a freaking tiger. So that should be quite the formidable foe for Negan. So let's talk a little bit about the Hilltop. So the Hilltop is under new management. Gregory is just not getting the job done. There's already the suggestion that Maggie's going to take over by Jesus, and I think Sasha is going to be there by her side as well. And we also have Kung Fu Jesus. So now when the Walkers came out, very few people came out to assist. So either there's not a lot of people at the Hilltop right now, or they're just not fighters. I think Maggie and Sasha can start to turn that group around. And we have Enid now at the Hilltop. So Enid has some roller skates, some balloons. Maybe she can MacGyver something together. But in all seriousness, I think Enid is going to be a good communication platform between Alexandria and the Hilltop, and she'll be able to sort of convey what the mood is at both locations. Now moving on to Alexandria, and this may be the most difficult location to assess. Now they have no weapons either, so we've seen a lot of sad-faced Rick. He has to be very careful how he looks at Negan. So is he playing along, or does he genuinely not have anything left to give to the group? But there is plenty of fight still left. We know Michonne was out there doing a little bit of target practice. She can't do that anymore because Rick took her weapon. She still has the katana, so she'll be able to get a little bit of practice. And honestly, she's probably a little bit more deadly with the katana anyway. Rosita, in the past, Rosita had her little training corps. Everybody getting fired up. Now, not everyone in the picture is still alive, but Eugene is going to be a key factor going forward. Eugene's emotional state is somewhat dictated by Rosita, and when she walked up and said, "Make me a bullet," now he has a little bit more purpose. So moving forward to the church scene. This was church scene number 2, where Rick got the whole congregation together. Father Gabriel definitely has some fight left, and the question is, did Father Gabriel actually bury some weapons in Maggie's grave? Let me know your thoughts and comments below. And this week, we're actually going to get Tara back to Alexandria, so she will make her escape away from the women of Oceanside and out from the wilderness and all the walkers that are out there, and hopefully she can forge a long-term relationship. And we may need a little bit of that heated battle, a little bit of that craziness back, because Tara is no doubt going to be upset. But what is going on with Rick and Aaron? We're going to find this out in a couple weeks. Danger, keep out. There's a little bit of trouble. So is this part of Rick's master plan? I am so anxious to get rid of this face Rick. Rick has learned to keep his mouth shut because you never know what Negan's liable to put in your throat. And we want to see crazy face Rick back. We got to get back to Rick and having a little bit of that mojo. And what do you guys think is going to bring crazy face Rick back? There's going to be a catalyst in a couple weeks. We know Spencer's probably going to be gutted, but what I'm going to predict is going to happen is Carl is going to get captured when he tries to storm the sanctuary, and then Negan is going to bring Carl back, delivering him back to Rick once again. He's going to gut Spencer, and I think witnessing all of these things happening is going to rile Rick up once again, and that's going to be the catalyst we need for Rick to become old school Rick. So now to the Saviors. This is one additional catalyst I think has to happen in order to weaken the Saviors enough for other groups to attack. So one of the primary characters here is Dwight. I went back and forth of my assessment of Dwight. Is he on Negan's side? Is he going to help Rick? I just know Dwight's been under a lot. There's only so much he can take. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. I'm going to be on Team Dwight. Moving forward to Daryl. Daryl was comatose for a while. He was in a cell. He was feeling a lot of guilt, but we saw a little bit of communication between Rick and Daryl. There's a lot of fight left in Daryl. Stay tuned for that. Daryl will break out of the sanctuary. And this scene here is going to bring it all back together. These three will collude together. Remember the cell scene where Daryl looked at Dwight and said, I understand why you did it. At that point, to me, Daryl was actually forgiving Dwight for what he did, realized that he was trying to save his family. And Sherry is skating on some very thin ice, actually talking to Daryl, but Sherry wants to get out of it as well, too. So I think Sherry and Dwight will end up breaking Daryl out. Dwight will help him out a little bit later. And here's a little bit of sneak peek. Daryl is watching something, and once again, here's that look I spoke about with Dwight. Just looks like, I don't know if he's listening to Negan with his wife or something's going on with Carl after Carl breaks in, but Dwight is getting very, very heavy for him. Look for him to defect in the next 4 or 5 episodes. And here are a few of the wild cards we want to talk about. So Heath actually made his great escape. He was being attacked by walkers, but we found out at the end of Oceanside that he actually used the car that they got there with. Heath actually said in the episode is kind of each to their own, so I think Heath will make it back to Alexandria and become a badass and help everybody out. And this guy, I don't know if they ever said where this guy was from. He was the guy hanging from the bridge, but potentially there could be another group out there that Negan's pissed off, and maybe they'll help out the group in Alexandria in the future. And is this the Whispers or not? Let me know what you guys think. If it is, I know it's way too early before All-Out War, but we could see some packs here and there, and that could actually impact Negan's group as well, too, and could weaken the Saviors. Now, we know from the sneak peek that Negan is going to get all the Saviors together and give this grand speech. He's talking about the Saviors and their purpose and what they bring to the table. I think he's doing this because he senses he's starting to lose a little bit of control. Keep in mind, there's a lot of groups out there they pissed off, but we need a couple catalysts in order to have that revolt and that rise to get to all-out war. Oceanside definitely has a reason. Negan has murdered all the husbands, all the fathers. Kingdom may or may not have that catalyst at this point. We don't know who's been killed from Kingdom, but that could be coming in the very near future. The group over at Hilltop, definitely with Maggie's leader, has all the incentive you need to go after Negan. And Alexandria has the incentive, but without the weapons, they may not have the device in order to get it done. So thanks everyone for watching. Let me know what you think will be the next catalyst to really drive the revolt against Negan. This has been Negan's Next War. My name is Killshot. Give this video a thumbs up. Talk to you all soon. Peace.